What's poppin'? My name is Richie, and today I want to show you guys 5 things that I learned over my 3,000 hours that I now have in Fortnite Creative that just make sense and that will hopefully help you to improve in Fortnite Creative. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. Okay, for tip number 1, I have something that is very important that you need to know immediately, and that is the copy and paste and how it works in Fortnite Creative. So first of all, if you copy and paste something in Fortnite Creative, you can just move it somewhere else, right? But if you, for whatever reason, use 2 or more pieces in a copy and paste, they just change. You can see here, I just moved them, and I just want to align them perfectly with their counterparts over there. And you can see that they are now a little bit higher for whatever reason. And this is in Creative Forever, so I cannot make them align perfectly here anymore. You can see I can use this piece perfectly fine, just one. Put it over here, it works, but more than 2 pieces, it's not working anymore. So this is in Creative Forever, and you can actually use this to your advantage in a lot of cases. One big example is the terrain galleries. Some of you guys might know that terrain galleries are a little bit off the grid snap, you can say. So if you place a normal grass tile or whatever, they do not fit with anything. So you can see if I just pull out, let's say we pull out this piece, and then from the same gallery, we're gonna pick the grass piece. And we want to place it perfectly with the counterpart here. And you can already see that it's not lining up. It is not working whatsoever. And that has been in terrain galleries forever. And an easy solution to this, as you might remember, if you copy more 2 pieces, they are not fitting anymore. But in the case of the terrain gallery, they actually do fit. So what we can do here is very simply just add another piece on this side here, copy and paste both of them, and now, ta-da, they're perfectly fit. You can delete this one, and you're good to go. I don't know if this will ever get fixed in Creative, but maybe it's intentionally, I don't know. But in the case of the terrain gallery, this works super fine, and you should always use it. Okay, there's one more big thing which I want to give to you guys, which is also super helpful and super time-saving. There's things which are called anchor points, right? So anchor points are these little points in the middle where the object rotates around. So you can see it always rotates around this little point here. So the same thing goes for if you copy and paste multiple objects. But in case here, you can see we now have multiple anchor points, but only one of them is active. In this case, this last one here, so the bottom one. There's also a very important thing that you need to know. If you stand very close to a big object or something that you want to copy and paste, like something like this, you can see that the object is not moving at all, right? So if I go like here, and I can completely go here perfectly fine. But if I move further away, the object moves actually to you, something like this. And for big objects that you just want to move a tiny little bit, it is especially helpful to, first of all, find the anchor point and then move as close as possible to the anchor point or like at some kind of close range to make it work flawlessly. This is especially important if you are using no grid snap, because you can see that obviously in no grid snap, this is a lot easier to just move a tiny little bit to the right than if you go here and do it from like far away and then you have to go back in. To try to figure out how it works perfectly. So always try to find the anchor points of your copy and paste buildings and move as close as possible to get the best effect out of it. Okay, coming to number 2, and that is something that I struggled a lot with in the beginning. That was, I knew how to do these mechanics, how to build these rock-like formations, and there was the one thing that always struck me, and that it always looked blank. It always looked the same. They always looked like, okay, yeah, you know how the mechanics work, but you don't know how to fully utilize what you just did there. And that is because I only used one gallery or one piece to create the whole thing. So you can see here that this main rock is basically built out of this piece right here from the shark gallery, the shark cliff gallery here. So there's this piece right here, or this one. And you can build very nice rocks with this, right? So you can just start building and then you have this nice hill. But it looks a little bit blank if you just build like this. There's like normal hills have like broken pieces. They have like things that's sticking out of the hill. They have grass, they have whatever, right? And if you just build with one piece out of one gallery, it looks blank. So one big thing that I can give to you guys is, first of all, you can use different terrain pieces to build like different iterations of stuff, right? So what you could do instead of just building out of this piece or just building like whatever, like something like this, you could start using and mixing in little other pieces. Like for example, there's like a little dirt track in this. So you go into the dirt one, pick it up, scale it up, and then rotate it a little bit, whatever, something like this, and then place it, I don't know, somewhere here, right? And maybe go a little bit more in, go something like this. So for example, something like this. This looks like now this looks a lot more realistic to an actual mountain than it looks to the just like building randomly out of the same shape. You can obviously still like make this a lot more beautiful, add like rocks in there, add like a little different pieces and stuff like that. But you get the main point that I'm trying to say here. Don't just build out of one material. Try to do different stuff. For example, what you could also do is rocks and generally like anything that looks like terrain but is maybe not meant for terrain really looks good on terrain. So what you could do here is, for example, just add like rocks. So you can see that if I go into the nature tab, you can find this like tropical rock gallery, or this one over here, where I found this piece, right? This is this one, this piece right here, which looks perfect on terrain. Like it just is meant to be fitting into here. So experiment with that, and don't just stick to one, even though it is a little bit harder to find out stuff that works. But in the end, it will make your builds look so much better and so much unique. And people will definitely recognize that if you do something like this. One big thing in terrain building is that obviously we're a little bit limited by the stuff that we have. So this piece is great and all, and you can build really cool terrain out of it. And if you're very carefully, you can build almost perfect looking terrain with this. But you always have these like little pieces which don't really like fit into each other. Like for example, if you go over here, you can see that this looks really cool from this side, but you can see that there's like this edge here, and this doesn't look good at all. And you have to realize that you don't have to build perfect in your main structures to make things look good. You can fix it afterwards. It is very simple by using like stuff like trees, bushes, rocks. So for example, you can see if I move this away, you can see, oh, look at this. This is not perfect by any means, but you can cover up very easily with a stone. Or maybe, let's say, we can fix this with a bush. Oh, nobody sees it anymore. Okay, maybe actually like this. And now it looks a lot better, right? It's not the perfect solution, but you know what I'm saying here. Don't try to be perfect and then give up if it's not working or whatever. You always have the option to add like little trees and add like, for example, this piece right here, or like any of these pieces are very good to cover up like cracks in the floor or something like this. Right, if this tree would not standing here, this would obviously work perfect. So stuff like this can easily be fixed by just using props to hide it, and nobody will ever notice. And there's always a prop for anything, so we have like so many props now. Like back in the days, it was a little bit hard to like cover stuff like this to not make it look blank, but we now have like 15 types of rocks, and there's so many different props that you can now use. So try to use them and use them effective. Okay, so this next tip is something that I had to learn the hard way, and that a lot of you guys probably already learned the hard way. But for those of you who are just starting out, always, or actually never, build on the grid island floors. Never do that. There's one big reason why you should never do that. The reason for that is that the island ends down here. So you can see here, there is the island. And you can see that a bunch of these are very close to the island barriers. And what happens if you go too close to the island barrier? Correct, it will not place anymore. So, for example, you have your nice little iceberg here, whatever, and you just want to add a little bit more down here, but you just realize, oh, the barrier is down here, I cannot place anything. And then now you have to go to copy your whole terrain pieces, and you have to readjust it, potentially, mess up all the other builds that you already built around it, and then your whole island is ruined because you made this little mistake that you didn't calculate that there is an island barrier down here which doesn't allow you to place anything. Even worth back in the days, actually these things got deleted. So you could actually place them back in the days, but after you came back to your island, they actually just got deleted. And you were looking like, oh, well, that is very unfortunate. So always make sure that you have enough room between the island barrier down here and your builds, especially for big terrain pieces like for example, the nature ice cliff galleries is a good example. Or if you go into there is this like super nice piece which I like to use. Quick tip again here, the shark rock gallery here. So this piece right here, it is an amazing piece. You can scale it up so big, and you can make terrain so easy. Like you can create huge terrain very easily. But if you just want to like, maybe place a piece down here, maybe a little flat piece here, that's not working anymore. And you have to like, and then it's not working anymore. Just make sure that you always have enough space between between the island barrier and your builds. Okay, and for the last tip, and that is something that, especially for those of you who build custom props and build, like to build stuff out of props that are, usually need to fit into each other. For example, this block over here is a good example. So this is a music block. You can find this block in the visualizer gallery here, and you can just pick it out and then just place it, right? So if you're in Grid Snap, you just place it down, and it works perfectly fine if you just place another one on top of it. But now you have the problem that you need to have it like maybe one scale bigger. So you go here and scale it up once. I want to place it again, and it's not fitting anymore. Why is that? Nobody knows, but it's very annoying, especially if you have pieces like this which need to fit into each other. This is like same for like terrain pieces, stuff like that, where if you scale it up and then they start like this jittering, right? You can barely see this here. Like maybe make it a little bit smaller like this. And then you want to place them into each other. And then out of a sudden, the thing that perfectly worked before now is not fitting anymore and is jittering and has these little effects. I mean, if you're fine with that, it's okay. But some people really don't like that, and especially in pieces like this, where it's either like too high or it's start jittering, it's very annoying. One solution to that is always scale up in 5. If I take this piece, which is the default size, and I scale it up 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can see they now fit perfectly again, and that always works in 5 steps. So props are always scaling in 5. That is a very easy trick. Always scale up in 5, and you have no problems with jittering edges or stuff is not placing properly. And trust me, for those of you who have experience with that, it is a very annoying thing. Obviously, you could also, same thing, go and do like manually, but depending on how much you already built and how much you have to build in the end, this might not be possible, or it is just not a thing. So yeah, it is a very easy solution. Always step in 5, and your builds will be looking a lot cleaner, and they're a lot simpler to build. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys back in the next video. Bye.